Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. I'm almost ready to call today a union and TikTok show because we have some good stuff, both from friends and otherwise. Please remember, folks, we can't be distracted. Don't be distracted by all the crap that is occurring. We have to keep focus on the ball at hand. Let's not let anything, absolutamente nada, no vamos a dejar que nada nos toma los ojos de lo que es la meta, lo que es la meta que tenemos que hacer. We have to keep our minds on the ball. We have to make sure and do what we need to do. Anyway, folks, what's up? Welcome aboard. In the house, number one, AVQ, Michael Rudden from Brooklyn, New York is in the house. Numero uno. Oh, actually, let me see if I need to correct that. No, he is number one in the house. Number two in the house is Evette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. We also have in the house Jacqueline Campisi, professora, teacher, most important profession from Katy, Texas. Joanne from Los Angeles, California. How you doing, Joanne? Great to see you here again. And of course, there's Paul Fleming Sr. from Atlanta, Georgia, in the house as well. We've got Patrick Magner, Houston, Texas, saying meow. How you doing, Patrick? Great to see you here. And let's see. Of course, we don't get the first few on Substack, but I just saw Hestiana. Hestiana just came into Substack, so great to have you guys here. Anyway. There's a lot happening. We did a whole lot today on the morning show. I was about to cut that piece from the morning show on abortion and also what the state representative happened to the state representative in Florida when it turned out she needed she had an ectopic pregnancy, which means a pregnancy that was developing in the fallopian tubes. And well, the doctors didn't want to do anything for a while because they were scared to do what? Go to jail. Lee Grant is in the house from Montgomery County. How you doing, Lee Grant? Great to see you here. Lori Utz is in the house as well. Great to have you here as well. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to try to fix that up for our evening show or afternoon show tomorrow. I may work on that tonight and put it out on Substack early because I think it's an important thing. Do You Lie is here in Houston. Welcome aboard. Do you lie? Do you lie? I don't know. I know I don't, but do you? Anyhow, just messing with your name. Do you lie? All right. Look, yesterday you guys heard me or watched me talking to our one of our great listeners, long time listeners from ages ago. Love her, Evette Avery Herod. Well, she is running to be the president of the entire local 728 in Georgia. We love her, and you know what? We want her to win. So if you have folks, in the unions out there in Georgia, make sure to keep her name and let your family members, your relatives, everybody share this program because we want to make history for local 728 in Georgia. Welcome aboard, Kathy Lenham, Barbara Shervis, Linda, ¿cómo estás? Thank you for being here. But we want to make history. And I tell you what, this isn't history for the sake of making history. I followed this young woman's work And if everybody did union work like she did, the entire damn country would be unionized, and that which belongs to us all would belong to us all. So while I have not yet queued it up because we've got a lot going on here that I had to run back into the office to get stuff done, I am going to queue it up right now so that we can get Evette on and make sure that I get all the channels, make sure all the channels can hear Evette. There we go. All channels are set up to listen to Evette. All right. I want you guys to take a note on this and then we'll take it on the other side. Welcome to another edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Today we are honored to have Evette Avery Herod. Evette Avery Herod is a working mother providing for her family. She has been a Teamsters union steward at UPS, as well as an activist for workers' rights for several years. She is now embarking on a new mission. She has earned what she's doing now, running for Teamsters Local 728. Good morning. How you doing this morning, Evette?
I can't complain. How about yourself?
I am doing just fine. Evette, I've known you for a long time. You have been a listener of Politics Done Right for a while. But most importantly, what I really admired about you is the work that you put into workers. In other words, you have always been looking out for workers wherever it was that you were working. And it is something that, it is something that it's not an easy task because you've gone through a lot of tribulations for that. I think you have earned to be that representative of Teamsters Local 728 because you've not only done the work, you've lived it and you've lived every aspect of it. Why don't you first tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, I appreciate your kind words and welcome me once again to your show, Politics Done Right. So, like you said, I've been a Teamster steward I've been with UPS 19 years, 17 of those I've been active as a steward. And so fighting for workers' rights is something that is ingrained in me. I was fighting even before I was introduced to the actual union aspect of it all within my job. So for me, anytime I saw someone getting done wrong, something inside just wells up. So I don't like that feeling. I don't think it's fair. We all should be treated equally as humans, and we should always be represented fairly. So for me, this is just like the natural next step in order to, run for president for the local.
You were always doing, I remember you were always doing the work. I think you also worked for an airline company, you worked for UPS. You were always on the front lines there, helping out your fellow Teamster brother and before brother and sister. And before that, before, as you said, before you got into the union. Now tell us about this position that you're running for. And I think you're running on a slate. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm running on the Empower slate. So this is a slate that I've actually run on before. I'm one of those who I will continue to run for office until I see our union actually function and operate as it should, doing the work that the members actually need. So the Empower slate, running as the president on that slate. We are coming from all different, backgrounds, some from UPS, some from the movie industry, which we have as a part of our local as well. Our local actually is very unique in a lot of ways because it covers the entire state of Georgia. So we have almost over 11,000 members in our union. So it's a vast majority of people up to, we have attorneys in our union. We have some of the waste workers in our union. So we are a vast different type of collective of different types of workers that all deserve that fair representation that I'm looking to give them.
Now, what I admire about you is that, like I mentioned earlier, you are in every aspect of union building. I've seen videos with you. I've seen interviews on local stations where you're out there in the field with the workers. I've also seen you in other states supporting other unions, not only giving them your knowledge, but actually getting knowledge from them as far as what you can bring to your own state, to your own community. Tell us a little bit about that.
And that's correct. So for me, I believe that we have to be a part of our community. As unionists, sometimes they just focus on the contract only to make sure our workers are good there. But there are a lot of things going on in our workers' lives that have to be addressed. So if they're having issues with childcare, we should be there to help address that. having issues with homelessness because some just assume that because some are making these great wages, that all workers under union contracts have these great wages. Some have newer contracts and the wages hadn't got there quite yet. So they're dealing with, like I say, homelessness. They're dealing with food insecurities. It's things that, violence out there. So anything's going on in our community, as unionists, we should be out there helping our members in our community. As unionists, we should be out there helping our members. They're getting the representation they deserve. So going around, meeting with different people, going to different states, getting different perspectives on how to handle those things.
I remember when you were, I think you were working at one of the airlines, and you went ahead and you spoke to the different segments. You taught me about under the wing and above the wing, and how you were concerned about workers that are both above the wing and below the wing. These are things that got inculcated in my mind, that brought me to the stance that, my God, you are all encompassing. I think many a times you find people who aspire to be leaders, that they only have one facet of leadership, which doesn't give them the understanding of the entire picture of labor. And labor doesn't only encompass the work, as you mentioned, the workers above the wing, below the wing, the workers in the warehouse, outside the warehouse. You understand that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I know you're referencing when I used to work for Delta Airlines. At the time when I was helping to organize those workers, I was above wing as a gate agent, even though I had the experience below wing. We have, the ramp workers, the workers in the bag rooms, those type of things. So I had that experience as well. So I was helping that campaign below the wing, try to get organized. And it's actually a campaign that's continuing right now. So for those Delta people that are paying attention, make sure you sign your cards because it's something that you deserve, that representation on the job. I know what it feels like to be in a union represented job and a non-union represented job. And these companies making these billions of dollars on our backs, we have a right to organize and get a portion of that to make sure our life is reflective of that hard work that we are putting in. So having those different distinctions, a lot of companies use those to separate our working class people. So if you're above the wing, oh, you're supposed to be this. Or in the case of UPS, if you're a driver, you're all this. No, the part-timers with UPS are our biggest group. So a lot of the times they get, shooed away, but they really hold the most power. And we as leaders should make sure they recognize that. No, you hold the power. Make sure you vote. Make sure you are recognizing that you are the union, not the people that you elect to, run the local. The actual people that are the union are the rank and file workers that actually do the job every day. So they need to know they hold the power. And so that's something that, we've seen, throughout here lately with a lot of different companies, the Starbucks, the Amazons, people are trying to organize because they recognize the people actually hold the power. So that's something that I definitely want to educate our members on so they can move better within these companies and fight for their rights properly because they recognize they hold the power.
Yvette, that's what leadership is all about. And that is what I admire about you, because a lot of workers, they tend to cede their power to those with the suits. And what you realize and what you impart on them is that no, they are the ones who are making things happen. Yes, there's leadership, but absent them, there ain't no leadership. Absent them, the company makes no money. Give me your closing pitch. Give me your for everybody to know. And I think you will, in fact, go ahead, make your pitch.
Well, I'd like to, encourage everyone that, especially all our members of Local 728, to reflect on how their lives are currently. If you are currently satisfied with what's been going on, if you feel like you have all the education you need, if you feel like your union stewards are very well trained or doing the best jobs they have to do, and that there's no need for change, then hey, we're not for you. But if you want that actual change, if you really want to learn about your contract, know how to fight through the grievance process as well as outside the grievance process to make things actually happen, I would implore you to check us out at the Empower Slate. Follow us on all our social media. We have a online questionnaire that we have you guys filling out that actually we're going to be responding to those things, making videos about those with actual solutions to the problems that you're encountering. So we would really like you to vote for our slate. Check us out, and any questions you have any time to come holler at me through the internet or call me on the phone. It's all readily available.
How can they find you? In other words, for folks who want to first of all, be a part of your slate and or will help your slate, how can they get to you?
All right, so on all our social media, we have TikTok. Everything is the Empower Slate, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And like I said, we do have a website as well that the link is provided and our YouTube. So we have several platforms that you can check us out on so you can get those educational videos that we will be releasing.
And that is this is Evette is running for the president of Teamsters Local 728. Let me tell you, I've seen your body of work. We've listened to you. Uh, Folks, don't let a good person who knows the workers, who knows knows the work well. 728. Teamsters Local 728. President to be. Thank you so kindly, Evette Avery Herod, for having been on Politics Done Right.
Thank you for having me, Berto.
I love that. I love Yvette's dedication and her stamina. And you know, it's not easy being a woman in these unions, etc. But she's always been there, not only interstate, out of state, everywhere. Anyway, folks, if you know folks out there, let them know that they have someone that's running for president that deserves it. All right, okay, Lisa Blair. Hello from Atlanta, Georgia. Carl Cox from Riverdale, Georgia. We also have Paul Fleming from Atlanta, Georgia in the house. In the house, as well as May Wood from Long Beach, California. We have Sandra Rector, Gay Dale, Wendy Bouchier, Jay David, MC, Gail Burton on Substack, Cynthia Verdell. How you doing, Cynthia? Cynthia came to over this weekend, came to our Ask Egberto, the special for our for our dedicated paid subscribers. She came and visited us on our weekend program. Thank you for being there, Cynthia Verdell. Robert Zoltan, Adam W. was there as I think Adam was there as well. Anyway, Observatory 7, welcome aboard. All right, Avery says, I'm truly appreciative of you, Egberto, for allowing me the time and space to speak on my campaign. Look, as a member of the PDR posse, my dear, you have carte blanche, especially somebody doing the work that you do. When I told you from the day that I met you several years ago, I had so much respect for the work that you do, and I mean that. All right, let's see. What else have we got here? We've got Carl Cox says, typical MAGA if a policy helps the bottom 99.5% in terms of wealth and not the top 5%, especially the top 0.1% in terms of wealth, change the rules. Shaft the bottom 95% in terms of look. Let me tell you something. This is important. Adam W is in from Pennsylvania. Thank you for being here, Adam W. Let me tell you something, guys. The problem that we have in the country is we have learned to be passive and we have learned to cede to the plutocracy that which they did not earn. They want you to believe that you are asking for something when you demand, not ask. Or I should say, yeah, when you ask. But the thing is this, you shouldn't be asking for anything. You should be demanding that which you worked for. Right? Most people are not lazy. Most people want to work. Today I had one of my air conditioning units came out. A 25-year-old came out to fix the unit. This guy is working his ass off. Most Americans want to work. The problem is that they are not paid commensurate with their labor. We have a system that takes advantage of those who labor. And that's what we're all about fixing. We are saying everybody in America deserve to have health care. We pay our taxes. We pay a lot of taxes. Those taxes should cover health care. Everybody in America is entitled to a job, a training, and education. That is why we have something called society and not anarchy. Society and not anarchy. But what the capitalists have done is they have inculcated in the minds of too many, that somehow those on the top of the ladder, who, by the way, if I were to put a farmer and a stockbroker on an island, the stockbroker will not survive. If I were to put the stockbroker and a mechanic in the middle of an ocean, the stockbroker would not survive. The work that most of us do, but by the way, the stockbroker is really never ever really needed. I don't know if you remember during the pandemic. During the pandemic, think about this. They had two classifications of workers, the essential workers. And ironically, those essential workers that had to go in were at the two extremes, right? We had essential workers like nurses and doctors that get paid well. But then we had essential workers like the janitors at grocery stores and the people who pick the crop and the people who slaughtered the cows and the people who did all your work. And they were at the underbelly. They were making very little, but they were essential. They had to go to work. But you know, it is during pandemics and these other things that you see all the people that really matter and all the people that deserve to be paid what they aren't paid today. I say this because we have to be careful. You know, we have college education, good thing. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm happy. I'm great. But you know what? That man that picks up my garbage twice a week, if he misses picking up my garbage for a month or not, or a month or so, I would be in dire straits. Anytime we start to believe we are individuals and not a collective, that is when we run into problems. Anytime we start to believe that we don't need our brothers and sisters, that is when we're in trouble. That is when we're in trouble. Okay, let's see what let me get off my soapbox and start reading. It is hot outside. I saw the birds picking up the worms with tongs. That is funny, Paul Fleming. That is funny as hell. All right, what else have we got here? Paul says, my dad was a Teamster for 40 years and retired with a great pension. Those were the days when it paid, right? What else have we got here? Michael says, above the wing, below the wing reminds me of airlines. Yep. Flight crew, logistics support crew. Exactly. Let's see. Maywood from Long Beach is in. Let's see what else we got here. E2247 says, what did I miss? What's to eat? Hey, guy, if you weren't here to hear our great PDR Posse member, Evette Avery, you missed a good speech. She's running for president of Teamsters Local 728. Michael Rudden says, a new spammer account with the same copy-paste crap. Get rid of them, Michael Rudden. I think you can do that. All right, let's see what else we have here. Egberto, put me on an island. My skill set of fixing computer problems, I wouldn't survive either. That wasn't the point of the discussion. That the point. And by the way, Michael, that's not true. Guess what? You know that the stockbroker likely doesn't know. You know about you. You come on my show every day, and you talk about environment. Every day, you have something to say about the environment. No, you know, and you'll do fine. Thank you. Paul Fleming says, why I bought an EV? Because I didn't want to have a redo my budgets every time there's a war, as well as the environment. Unfortunately, that's kind of a good choice. But remember, Paul, that your EV is charged with electricity that is still generated by fossil fuel. So, hey, still have a problem there sometimes, right? An oil shot would make matters worse, perhaps much worse. Yep. Cast away, Michael, from Eric Hayes. Michael said, Egberto, no, I don't have permissions to delete comments. Well, I need to give you permission to delete comments. I need to figure out how to do that. Cynthia Vertel says, kidnapping and now killing people by mass agents is okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. Those mass agents are criminals. Adam W says the rich think they are so much better it lost in the woods. That stack on hundreds in their pockets or the American Express Centurion card wouldn't be worth very much in helping them out, would it? That's the message, Mr. Rudnin, my brother Rudnin. That's the message I wanted to get out of it. Just what Adam W just said. That's the message out of the story with the stockbroker and the farmer on an island. All right, Frank says, so you are critical of Israel. Are you also critical of our Iranians that say debt to Israel? Of course I am. Debt to America? Of course I am. I'm critical of anybody who wants to inflict harm on somebody else. I repeat, I am critical on every person who wants to inflict harm on somebody else. But I tell you what, since you brought up Israel, Frank, I am going to go into the next subject at hand because you are look, I'm glad you're here, Frank, and stick around. I want you to listen to this TikToker, Mehdi Hassan, and I want you to listen to this in detail. And I'm glad that you said I'm critical of Israel and didn't say something else because everything that I talk about have been sanctioned by my Jewish brothers and sisters that I hang with, okay? But I want you to listen to this and then we'll take it on the other side. Let's see if I can get it out first of all. Let me pause. Oh, let me pause it. Come on, pause, 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 pause. Let's do this again. Let me get it onto the screen and you will see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna put it in the center of the screen so that both our TikTok and our Instagram folks can actually hear it. So here we go. Bear with me as I connect you to that. There's a screen. Check this out.
Have as of today. How many nuclear weapons does Iran have as of today?
Right now, I hope none.
Okay, how many does Israel have?
No idea.
No idea. You were in the government. They don't tell you that stuff.
No idea.
Who do they tell?
No idea.
Do you recognize the hypocrisy of Israel having a secret illicit nuclear weapons program that it won't open up its doors to and won't talk about, and then lecturing everyone else in the region about nuclear
Absolutely
weapons?
not. You know why?
You talk about hypocrisy. If an Iranian guest came on my show and I asked him about Iran's nuclear program, he said, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about it. Would you be okay with that? You'd be outraged.
Of course.
And you sit here as a former minister of the Israeli government saying, I don't know if they talked about nuclear
because there's like 16 United Nations Security Council resolutions against Iran.
And there is against Israel. And there is against Israel as well.
About
your nuclear program.
No.
Yes, there is. UN Resolution 487. Let me read it to you. The UN Security Council in 1981 says, calls upon Israel urgently to place its nuclear facilities under the safeguards of the IAEA. Why haven't you done that?
Because
Iran has never attacked a neighbor. Israel has repeatedly attacked its neighbors. Iran signed the non-proliferation treaty. Israel has refused to sign. Iran submits to inspection by the International Nuclear Energy Agency. Israel refuses to submit. Iran has no nuclear weapons. Israel has between 75 and 400 nuclear weapons. So Israel poses an existential threat to Iran. For the last 40 years, Israel has conducted a systematic campaign of disinformation about Iran. Why the lies? Why the double standards? Why the hypocrisy?
Exactly. And let me tell you better. Let me get that war criminal off our screen. That guy is a complete war criminal, a killer, a murderer, an assassinator, what do you call it? A genocider. Look, here is the deal. Here is the deal. And this is a statement of fact. The head count, the body count of the amount of people that Israel has blown into pieces, Israel, Netanyahu and the IDF, the body count of those people far exceed anything these terrorists that they are purported fighting has done. Body count, dead babies, dead women, dead men. Let's be clear here, people. This has nothing to do with our Jewish brothers and sisters. This has everything to do with a genocidal maniac, with a genocidal IDF. How do you feel when you see over 100,000 people dead. Anytime we get these numbers, whenever Israel always attacks. Did Iran attack Israel? No. Israel just went in preemptively and started dropping bombs, killing scientists. Think about what our media would say if somehow Iran got a plane through the Israeli defenses and killed Israeli scientists and contemplated assassinating the leader of Israel. Oh, the mainstream media would go berserk. Yet they are entertaining whether it is okay for Israel to go. Will Israel be assassinating the Ayatollah, the leader of Iran? They just talk about it as if, well, do you think Israel would, as if it is normal? But if you said the same thing about Donald Trump, or if you said the same thing about Netanyahu, it would be the end of the world. So let's be truthful. Let's be honest. Let's think with our heads. Michael Segberto, Israel also almost killed Iran's top negotiator who was hopeful for peace. Middle East Eye, Ali Shamkhani, Iranian negotiator thought killed by Israel is alive, says state media. Senior advisors to Supreme Leader was wounded and taken to hospital after an Israeli missile attack. Let's go a little further, Michael Radnin, because this is important. Okay, Eric, on 10/7, 1,200 Israelis were murdered. And running count, the body count for what Israel has genocidally murdered and destroyed in Gaza is over 100,000. So if you want to call out 10/7, also call out 10/8, 10/9, 10/10, 10/11, and all these other numbers. Let's be honest in the way we do numbers here. Okay, let's be honest in doing numbers here. So when we look at body count, folks, body count. In this recent attack on Iran, over 400 innocent Iranians are what? Dead from all the bombs that Israel has been dropping. Okay? You know how many Israelis have died with the missiles that's been shot over? 20 something. Always a difference in body counts. Israel goes in there and murders. They indiscriminately bomb. When that missile hit the hospital, they said, "Oh my God! Look at these! They hit a hospital. How bad! That shows that they're animals. They're evil." That's what Netanyahu said. Wait a minute. Did Netanyahu blow the holy crap out of all the hospitals, or virtually all the hospitals in Gaza? Don't we have the people? Don't we have the pictures of the body parts of all those children that were murdered genocidally by Netanyahu? Of course we do. So what I ask all of you out there, folks, is please, I'm not asking for balance. I'm asking for truth. Truth. Just go out there and seek the truth. Jane B. in North Carolina says he's a war criminal. No wonder Trump loves him. Cynthia Verdell says Israel has committed many atrocities that far exceeded Iran. Absolutely statement of fact. Cynthia Verdell says everyone says that Israel has a right to defend itself. So does that means Iran don't have the right? Iran has the right. While they're saying Iran shouldn't have the bomb, I tell you what, the favor that Donald Trump has done is by bringing the war to Iran. I think he clearly shows that Iran is going to build a bomb. Iran will build a bomb sooner than later. And they're going to use what Israel and the United States did as justification. And can you blame them? Israel and Iran leave North Korea alone. Why do they leave North Korea? North Korea has ballistic missiles and it has the bomb. And it has showed the world that both of them work. Iran has the capability to do it. Don't think they won't. Adam W. says, Egberto, I remember how the media painted Saddam Hussein as a great threat to the U.S. and the world at large, while it seemed unimportant to focus on the genocide in Sudan. Exactly. Cynthia Verdell says, 377,000 Palestinians dead. I believe that it's more. It's amazing, and they die every day. How many of them are under the rubble? Who can see that? Who can see that and not feel some level of empathy? Only an evil person. Adam says, I guess there was not enough in Africa at the time to pay attention to, not enough oil in Africa. Well, yeah, the oil countries in Africa like Nigeria get a break. All right, Michael Radin says, Egberto, update from AP News. Israeli strikes on Iran have killed at least 950, wow, and wounded 3450. That's a new number for me. To Washington-based group, right? The group said of those dead, it identified 380 civilians and 253 security force personnel. Shame. So there you go. Israel, every time they go into somewhere, it is mass killing. But we don't report it that way here. Well, we do here at Politics Done Right on our 3 o'clock Politics Done Right. We do that. We will report the truth. Welcome aboard, Ruth Ann Bowen. Thank you for coming. Susan, David, thank you for coming. So yeah, now I have something else for you. Cody Pogue is a friend of mine. Cody Pogue did a piece that enlightened me. I did realize I can't follow absolutely all the news, but he points out that Texas is actually getting rid of the Dream Act. And you know what that means? That means that here in Texas, whereas our hard-working kids of our hard-working, whether undocumented kids, would get in-state tuition, which makes for a better education, etc. Well, Texas, with its great evil politicians, have decided that they will not allow that anyway. Well, listen to my brother from another mother, a professor at what college is it? Not Lone Star. He's not at Lone Star anymore. I think he is at I can't remember the name of the college that he's at right now. But I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side. Let me put it to cover my face, and then we'll move on from there. Let's get that criminal off the screen. There we go.
A few days ago, the state of Texas ended the Texas Dream Act, a law that was signed by a Republican, Rick Perry, about 25 years ago. And it gave in-state tuition to undocumented students who grew up in the state of Texas, who graduated from a Texas high school, and who have spent their life paying property and sales taxes to fund the education system in the state of Texas. This policy is bad for everybody. Not only is it bad for the undocumented students themselves, because now they can't afford to go to college, but it's bad for us that are citizens as well, because we know that giving people opportunity leads to positive results. So by denying opportunity to these students, we're creating a world where 10, 20, 30 years from now, we're likely to have more crime, less entrepreneurship, less quality employees, less growth, less development, less jobs, less tax revenue being paid into the system that can come back to fund our education and our infrastructure and all that sort of thing. Also, because these people can't go to college, eventually they're going to have kids and they're going to be less able to support those kids. So we're going to be paying more into our social safety net systems in 20 years. Teachers are going to be having a harder job in 20 years. This harms everybody involved. There is no upside to it at all in any way. This is simply a policy where Texas politicians are so determined to hurt these young people who grew up in this state that they're hurting us in the process.
Exactly right, that they're hurting us in the process. Think about that. These people, and we spoke about this earlier. These people have so much hate that they will harm themselves. They will harm our economy at large because yes, they have so much hate. They're on this deportation rage right now. But what is happening? Food is spoiling in the field, rotting in the field, because a lot of these workers aren't showing up to work. What do you think that's going to do to your grocery prices? So your hate is going to cost more money at the grocery store. They talk about criminals. Actually, there are not a lot of First of all, uh, America is not a country of high criminality. First of all, let's be clear. And undocumented workers, undocumented folks are much less criminally inclined than Americans proper. And there's a reason why. They don't want to be caught. There's a criminal element that's always there, and they'll be criminals, and they'll be dealt with. But all those people, those lawns that were taken care of because Americans don't generally want to be in that hot sun doing your lawns, and folks that are coming from across that are coming in origin as hosts to later become citizens of this country, they are willing to do things that many others, don't necessarily want. Look, when I came to the United States of America as an immigrant, as a student, I took all kind of menial jobs. Worked in a cotton mill. I swept floors. I washed dishes. I cleaned tables. None of that is beneath me. None of that is beneath any of us. And if I had to go back and clean tables, etc., I'd do it. And right now we have a lot of folks who are coming over here willing to do it because enough of us that are citizens don't want to, won't do that. Like I said, if I had to, I would. I've always told my wife, if my business went so bad that I had to go back and do other things, I would. A job is a good thing no matter what kind of job it is, and I do it proudly. Whatever job I would have to do, I would do it with respect. And that, again, so let's get with the program, folks. Anyhow, so this hate that one has for our undocumented workers and want to give it to them, don't remember that a lot of these workers, first of all, are taken advantage of because not even the Social Security and the Medicare that they pay will they ever be able to use. They're holding the system up longer for us. Do those clowns that want them deported realize that? Do they realize that they shop at their stores, at their restaurants, at their grocery stores, and once that money is no longer in circulation, that it actually exponentially reduces the circulation of money? Do they know that? No. Why? Because the people who lead MAGA lead them to be dumb. And they don't want them to advance themselves. They don't want them to get smart. And why don't they want them to get smart? Because a smart person asks the capitalist an important question. Why should I do the work and you take all the gains? Why is the risk you take with your capital more important than the risk I take with my body? When I do the work, I risk my limbs. When I do the work, I risk my mental capacity, my mental health. When I do the work, I risk my lungs. When you stay in the office making most of the money that I risk my body on, and you tell me that as a capitalist, as a capital investor, you risk your money, well, our health is worth more than your money, more than your capital. But yet, our tax system rewards capital more than it rewards wages. Wages are for the workers, capital for the wealthy. And the capital is taxed at a lower rate than the wages for the worker. Those are the things that we try to teach, we try to inform on, so that whenever they start to call you a socialist, a communist, you're not. But that is how they freeze your mind. They want to stop your mind from thinking by giving you keywords. And when they give you those keywords, it freezes the discussion and you can no longer have an effective and intelligent dialogue. Well, I dispute that. I don't accept that. I believe that we will do what's necessary. Ibrahim Antalor says, true talk, brother. Absolutely so. Cynthia Verdell says, produce is very low in supermarkets now. Where are the bananas? You got to pay the import tax on the bananas. You know, we got to pay the import tax that are coming in. Look, it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us. All right. We have another good TikTok that I want to show you. Remember, I said this. Keep our eyes on the ball. We have to keep our eye on the big bad bill. We have to keep our eyes on what they're doing to education. We have to keep our eyes on all of these. Michael says, those who call others socialists or communists usually don't know what the terms mean. They look at countries that call themselves socialists or communists and then infer the parts they don't like. Exactly. They don't know, but they don't want to know because what they're taught is not to think critically. But guess what, folks? We think critically. I have one more TikTok that I want to show you, and this woman has a very important point to make. So let me get that on the screen. What I named it is the government is trying to extort schools. The government is trying to extort schools. Let me get it onto the screen and we'll talk about it. En un momentito lo comenzamos ahora. Let's see, I think I do it here. Let's see if that's it.
Okay, I need to remind all of us, me included, this war, this attack against Iran is very serious. Certainly, we need to be focused on it and the threats that he's created. However, we cannot use it as a distraction from what this administration is continuing to do on a day-to-day basis. And if you enjoy my content, please make sure to engage with this video. So I don't know if everybody's aware, but the Department of Education had sent out a letter to superintendents and colleges around the country who receive federal funding and gave all of them 10 days to sign the letter or they lose their federal funding. In the letter, you can no longer provide anything to help a child who's black or who's brown and who's struggling, because that's considered racism, and somehow that takes away from white students who were already gifted with better things. That's just the racist system we live in. You can't hire third parties that help boost reading levels and so forth for specific communities based on skin color. In other words, ignore the systemic racism, ignore what it does to black and brown kids. So that's in there. Also in the letter is all of the LGBTQ bullcrap. You can't provide any like special counseling or anything like that that addresses the needs of our LGBTQ students in any way, shape, or form. That includes having extra policies that students cannot bully our LGBTQ students, because apparently that's taking away from straight students. And worse is the special needs, if there is such a thing as worse, because it's all bad. You cannot give special needs kids anything special because that takes away from kids who do not have special needs, okay? So this letter went out, and here's the update. There are so many states and very large school districts who have refused to sign the letter. Ditto with colleges, okay? You've got the in Kentucky, you've got school districts there. You've got the Cincinnati school district. You've got entire states like Colorado, New York, and Pennsylvania, Illinois that will not, none of their schools or colleges will sign. So that's where we're at with that. I just want to make sure people knew that this is still going on, that there's still a lot of enforcement. There's a lot of, once this beautiful budget bill passes that's taking away funding, that's when this is really shit's really gonna hit the fan. in terms of schools and colleges getting funding, not getting funding, whether they sign this letter or not. Crazy.
Stay woke, my brothers and sisters. We must stay woke. And remember, we are proud to be woke. We are very proud to be woke. Let's see what else we got here. Michael Rada says she's describing anti-racism and the efforts to level the playing field. Exactly. E2247 also Odessa, Ukraine is just miles away from tiny Moldova, itself the land bridge to Romania. Let's see what else we got here. What else we've got here? All right, folks, anyone wants to call in? I don't have any more videos or anything to show you. I think we've covered it all. So it is your time. Give us a call, 281-823-7747. It is your time, 281-823-7747. Here's a real truth. It has always been your time. You know, I stopped the program to take whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. That has always been the modus operandi of this program. While we wait a little bit, I think I'm gonna scroll my books on a little bit. Anybody wants to get the hard copy of those books, you can always get them at politicsdoneright.com/books. Politicsdoneright.com/books. It takes you to all the books we sell at Amazon. But by the way, folks, all right, I'm waiting on your first call, 281-823-7747. 281-823-7747. Anybody wants to call and ask some questions? We have about 3 or 4 minutes that we can talk. We can take calls for for about 5 minutes we can take calls. Number is 281-823-7747. You know, I have a whole lot more not a whole lot, but a few more interviews that I have in the queue to play. For you, I'll probably start doing some of those. I don't know, sometime next week or tomorrow. I'm not sure when. But folks, I think I'm going to do the series with Patrick Lavelle pretty soon. It's a 5-part series that we recorded a few months ago that I'm going to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to wait till I go to Netroots or not, but we'll probably do that. And by the way, we will be again coming from Netroots live. We'll probably try to get some live programs. I'm traveling early in the morning to New Orleans. If it's set up by the afternoon, you know I'm going to give you that program in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll have to play a tape version. Anyway, folks, give me a call, 281-823-7747. If anybody wants to add anything to the program, 281-823-7747. Para ver qué más está aquí, I'm going through the list of things. E2247 says, Judentum first. Oh, I don't understand that. Judaism is not Zionism. I got that. Stop U.S. major weapons to Israel. Block the bombs. Act HR 3565. So call your congressperson about that. Stop BLU 109 bunker busting bombs. MK 80 serious bomb variant. CBU 39 small diameter bombs variant. I agree. I can't argue with any of that. What else have we got here coming over? Let's see. New audio. Michigan State Representative Carl Bonak, this is from Fleming, says he does not support women making their own healthcare decisions. Really? Constituents, so you don't support a woman's autonomy over her own body? Bonak says, I don't. Are you sure about that? Oh my God, I can't believe that, Fleming. That can't be true. Nobody. Okay, let me go ahead and. Oh, look like you also have that on audio. Is that true? Let's see if I can play that. Let's see if that is playable. Let's see. Wow. Let's see. Where is it? Let me see if I can find a way to play that audio, because that would be like, wow. Okay. Well, maybe there's nothing there. Let me see. Okay, I can't play it for some reason, guy. I don't have the audio. So anyhow, that would be a hell of a statement, huh? Let's see. Paul Fleming says 60 minutes Sunday solar power vehicles at a minimum 420 miles on a charge. So he's here. Save your money and get ready. Cars pay our number. I hear you. All right, folks, I am going to start getting out of here. But before I get out of here, I need to ask for your support. Please consider supporting our program. As you know, we work very hard to bring you a complete and new program twice a day, 6 in the mornings on KPFT 90.1 FM, as well as during the afternoons at 3 p.m. Central. And how can you help support us? Our newsletter subsidizes all of our platforms, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, etc. So please consider becoming a paid subscriber. It's very easy. Go to politicsandright.com/newsletter, politicsandright.com/newsletter, and it's less than a coffee a day. I'm not a day, a day, that'll be a lot. Less than a coffee a month. And I know if you saw me every month or so, you'd say, "Hey, Egberto, let me buy you a coffee." And in order to get our message across, and we get our message across, we have over 1 million eyeballs every month. In order to get our message across, we do need funding, and we're short about 570 now. So if you could become a paid subscriber and encourage others to become paid subscribers, it would really help us get some help to continue putting the message out there. So I got to get out of here. So I want to thank you in advance. Please go to politicsandright.com/newsletter and become a paid subscriber. Love you all. You can reach me at info@politicsandright.com. I read all my emails. I answer all my emails. Sometimes it takes me a while. I get thousands of emails every day. Sometimes it takes me a while, but I answer them. Please visit us please subscribe again, politicsandright.com/newsletter. Become a paid subscriber. Help us a lot. Anyway, folks, I've got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this program. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.